Hello students, welcome to this session. So today we are going to study about circulatory system. So it is a system which is concerned with the circulation of blood and lymph. So it consists of the heart and the blood vessels. So now let's study the first structure of the circulatory system is heart. The heart is a thick, highly muscular, contractile and automatic pumping organ of the blood. It is located in the thorax between two lungs. The coverings are four: epicardium, the outermost covering; myocardium, the cardiac muscle, the smooth and involuntary in action; endocardium, the innermost lining of the heart; and the pericardium, which surrounds all over the heart. So pericardium is of two parts, that is parietal pericardium, the outer layer is fibrous in nature, and the visceral pericardium is the inner one. The space between these two pericardium, that is parietal and visceral, is called as pericardial space, and it contains the fluid that is called as pericardial fluid, and the functions of that fluid is prevents friction, protects it from external shocks, and gives nutrition to the heart. And if in any disease the pericardial fluid is increased, then it is called as pericardial effusion. Circulatory pathways are of two types, open and closed. So open, when the blood is pumped by the heart, passes through large vessels and drains into open spaces or body cavities or sinuses. So example, it is seen in arthropods and molluscs. The closed circulatory system, in that the blood is pumped by the heart, is circulated through a closed network of blood vessels. The closed circulatory system is more advantageous because of the flow of fluid can be more precisely regulated, and it is seen in annelids and the chordates. Chambered heart, it is a muscular chambered heart, is present in all vertebrates. It is of two types circulation, single circulation and double circulation, and double circulation is of two types, incomplete and complete. So let's see first single circulation. So in single circulation, the blood passes through heart only once. Example, fishes. The heart pumps out deoxygenated blood to the gills. The oxygenated blood from gills is supplied to body parts. Deoxygenated blood is then returned from different body parts to the heart. Then in double circulation, so first is incomplete double circulation. So oxygenated blood is received by the left atrium and deoxygenated blood is received by the right atrium. But both the blood gets mixed in the single ventricle, which pumps out the mixed blood. In incomplete double circulation, the blood comes to the heart through two different routes but goes out through a single route. So it is called incomplete double circulation. Example, amphibians and reptiles. The complete blood circulation, in this the oxygenated blood is received by left atrium, deoxygenated blood is received by right atrium, the oxygenated blood is pumped out through the left ventricle, and the deoxygenated blood is pumped out through the right ventricle. In complete double circulation, there are two separate pathways for oxygenated and deoxygenated bloods, and there are two ventricles. So example, birds and mammals. Fishes, they contain hearts of two chambers, one auricle, one ventricle, with single circulation. Amphibians, three chambers, two auricles, one ventricle, with double circulation. Reptiles, three chambers, but ventricle is incompletely divided by the septum. And crocodiles, there are four chambers. Birds and mammals, four chambers hearts, two auricles, two ventricles, completely separated by auricles by interauricular and ventricles by interventricular septum, and they have double circulation. Chambers and walls of the heart, so they are four in number. So four chambers: right atrium, so atrium of two, left atrium, right atrium; ventricles two, left ventricle, right ventricle. So valves are four, so main two types: atrioventricular valve and semilunar valve. So atrioventricular valve, so left side between left ventricle and left atrium, it is bicuspid, that is two cusps are there, and it is also called as mitral valve. And right side it is tricuspid valve. Semilunar valve, so between heart and the great vessels. So aortic valve and pulmonary valve. The functions of the valves to prevent backflow of the blood, so to carry unidirectional blood flow. Great vessels. So they are mainly two types: vessels entering in the heart. So superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, they join and form vena cava, and it enters into the right atrium, which carry deoxygenated blood. Pulmonary vein, they are formed from the lungs and they enter into the left atrium. Even if it is a vein, it carries oxygenated blood because it is coming from the lungs. The vessels leaving from the heart. So pulmonary artery, it leaves from the right side of the heart, that is right ventricle, and aorta from the left side, that is left ventricle. So pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood and aorta carries oxygenated blood. The circulation of the heart, so there are mainly three types: pulmonary circulation, systemic circulation, and coronary circulation. So pulmonary circulation is between heart and lungs. So from lungs, deoxygenated blood is carried through the pulmonary vein, enter into the left atrium, and pulmonary artery, it carries deoxygenated blood, it leaves from the right side of the heart and goes to the lungs for the oxygenation. Systemic circulation, so it is between body and the heart. So the vena cava, that is superior and inferior vena cava, they carry deoxygenated blood from all body parts and carry to the right atrium. And aorta, it carries oxygenated blood, it leaves from the left side of the heart, that is left ventricle, and gives the oxygenated blood to all body parts. The third type is coronary circulation. So the left and right coronary arteries, they arise from the aorta and they supply oxygenated blood to the atria and ventricles. Few points regarding right atrium. A small amount of blood from the coronary circulation also drains into the right atrium via coronary sinus, which is immediately above and to the middle of the opening of the inferior vena cava. In the wall of the right atrium, there is a oval shaped depression called as fossa ovalis, which is a remnant of the opening of the fetal heart, that is foramen ovale. Cardiac cycle, the heart beats continuously throughout the life. So cardiac cycle begins with the atrial contraction, that is atrial systole, which is initiated by electrochemical stimulus coming from the SA node, that is sinoatrial node, which is also called as pacemaker because it initiates that impulse. The stimulus is transmitted through atrioventricular node to bundle of his, which spread to Purkinje fibers on the ventricle. Then during atrial contraction, the blood from atria is forced into the respective sides of the ventricles. The ventricles now undergo powerful contraction, that is ventricular systole, during which bicuspid and tricuspid valves remain closed. When the ventricular blood pressure increases, that is systolic pressure, then the aorta and pulmonary artery, the blood enters these arteries through the semilunar valves, that is aortic and pulmonary valves. When the blood enters the arteries, the ventricular relax and the ventricular is called as ventricular diastole, and the pressure is diastolic pressure. It then falls. Simultaneously, the atria have relaxed, the atrial diastole, and the blood rushes in the ventricles from vena cava and pulmonary veins. Now the ventricles are ready to receive blood again. So this way, the body, even at rest, the heart beats 70 times per minute, and each cardiac cycle lasts for 0.8 seconds. In this way, the cardiac cycle continues. So cardiac cycle is the alternate atrial and ventricular, systole and diastole, contraction and relaxation. The sounds are produced because of the closure of the valves, that is atrioventricular and semilunar valves. That sound is called as heart sounds, and they are mainly two: first heart sound and second heart sound. So first heart sound is due to closure of the atrioventricular valve, and it is heard as the lub, L-U-B-B, with the stethoscope. The second heart sound is due to closure of the semilunar valves, and it is heard as dub, D-U-B, and with the stethoscope. When there are abnormal heart sounds due to defects in the valves, they are called as murmurs, and these heart murmurs can be caused by blood flowing through the damaged or overworked heart valve, and then by listening these murmurs or abnormal heart sounds, you can diagnose the disease of the heart. Arterial blood pressure. So blood pressure is defined as the lateral pressure exerted by blood against the vessel walls. So it is of two types, systolic and diastolic. So the maximum pressure exerted when the ventricular contraction, it is called as the systolic pressure, and the minimum pressure when during the ventricular relaxation, that is diastole, is called diastolic pressure. The normal blood pressure is 120/80. That means systolic pressure is 120 mm of mercury and diastolic pressure is 80 mm of mercury. The blood pressure is measured by apparatus called as a sphygmomanometer, and when there is more than 140/90 mm of mercury blood pressure, it is called as hypertension. There are few factors which affect the blood pressure. So cardiac output, blood volume, viscosity of blood, age, sex, build, and sleep and emotion. And in pathological conditions, it is kidney disease, anemia, or high level of the cholesterol and triglyceride in the blood, that is obesity. Hope you find this session useful for your understanding and for your exams. Thank you.